गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी यमुना तीरवनचारी हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to morning Bhagavatam class. Thanks for the opportunity for the temple authorities. Let me share the screen. Give me a moment. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Today's third canto, 17th chapter. The 17th chapter name is Victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. Share the screen now. And the verse numbers, there are 3 verses for the day, 26, 27, 28 from 17th chapter, 3rd canto. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. So as I mentioned, 3.17.26 to 28. Savarsh Pugan Udau Mahabalas Charan Mahormin Cha Charan Mahormin Swasna Yeritan Muhu Maurya Bijagane Gadaya Vibhavarim Asidivam Tatapurim Prachetashaha Savarsha Pugan Udahu Mahabalas Charan Mahormin Chavasan Iritan Muhu Maurya Maurvya Jagne Gadaya Vibhavarim Asedivam Tatapurim Prachetashaha Savarsha Pugan Udadahu Mahabalas Charan Mahormin Chaswan Iritan Muhu Maurya Bijagne Gadaya Vibhavarim Asedivam Tatapurim Prachetashaha. Word to word translation. Saha, he, Varsha Pugan, for many years, Udadahu, in the ocean, Mahabalaha, mighty, Charan, moving, Maha, Urmin, gigantic waves, Swasana, by the wind, Irithan, toast, Muhuha, again and again, Maurvya, iron, Abhijagane, he struck, Gadaya, with his mace, Vibhavarim, Asidivan, Divan, reached, Tatha, oh dear Vidura, Purim, the capital, Prachetashaha, of Varuna. Translation and purport by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Moving about in the ocean for many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smote the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. Purport. Varuna is supposed to be predominating deity of the waters, and his capital, which is known as Vibhavari, is within the watery kingdom. The next verse. Tatropalabhya sura lokapalakam Yado gananam rishabam prachetasam smayan pralabdum pranipatya nichavaj jagadame dehi adiraja samyugam tatropalabhya sura lokapalakam yado gananam rishabam prachetasam smayan pralabdum pranipatya nichavaj jagada me dehi adiraja samyugam tatropalabhya sura lokapalakam yado gananam rishabam prachetasam smayan pralabdum pranipatya nichavat jagadame dehi adiraja samyugam. Tatra, there, upalabhya, having reached asura loka, of the regions where the demons reside, palakam, the guardian, yadaha gananam, of the aquatic creatures, rishabam, the lord, prachetasam, varuna, smayan, smiling, pralabdam, to make fun, pranipatya, having bowed down, nichavat, like a low-born man, Jagada, he said, to me, Dehi, give, Adiraja, O great Lord, Samyugam, battle. Translation and purport. Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, Lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of the lower region of the universe, where the demons generally reside. There, Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man, and to make fun of him, he said with a smile, give me battle, O Supreme Lord. The demonic person always challenges others and tries to occupy others' property by force. Here, these symptoms are fully displayed by Hiranyaksha, who begged war from a person who had no desire to fight. 28th sloka. Tam lokapalo adipati brachacharava viryapoho durmada virama maninam vijitya loke akila daitya danavan yadrajasuyena purayajat prabho tam lokapalo adipatir brachacharava वीर्यापहो दुर्मदा वीरमानिनां विजित्य लोक अखिल दैत्य दानवान् यद्राजस्वेयेन पूर्यजत् प्रभो तं लोकपलो अधिपतिर्प्रहाचर्वा प्रजा वीर्यपहो दुर्मदा वीरान् मणिनान् विजित्य लोक अखिल दैत्य दैवान् यद राजस्वेयेन पुरायजत प्रभो. Word to word translation. Tvam, you, Varuna, Lokapalaha, guardian of the planet, Adipatiha, a ruler, Brihat Sravaha, of wide fame, Virya, the power, Apaha, diminished, Durmada, of the proud, Veeramaninam, thinking themselves very big heroes. Vijitya, having conquered, Loke, in the world, Akila, all, Daitya, the demons, the Danavan, the Danavas, yet when Raja Swayena, with the Rajaswaya sacrifice, Pura, formerly, Ayajat, worship, Prabhu, O Lord. Translation, there is no purpose. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and a ruler of wide fame, having crushed the might of arrogant and consisted warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed a Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. So here, 3 verses we have done. Om Ajnana Timurandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chashkumilitam Yena Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sabitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadanti Padantikam Vandeham Sri Uttapada Kamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sarana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Pancha Kalpa Trubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschasya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, Hare Krishna devotees, once again welcome to morning Bhagavatam class, and we are dealing with Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 17th chapter, victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. So the flow of this chapter, this is the topic of the chapter. Once again I am repeating, victory of Hiranyaksha over all the directions of the universe. So the flow will be like this. Inauspicious moments after the birth of twin brothers. The moment they took birth, everything is inauspicious. And the flow continues. Various natural disasters after their birth. So even the pus kind of rain, total disaster. So various natural disaster after their birth. So all the devatas, they were running for for their protection. And next, the brothers grow up. Hiranyaksha, brothers means Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. So they both started growing. And then Hiranyaksha conquers all directions. So Hiranyaksha conquers all the directions. So the 26th verse also part of the conquering of all the directions. And the last division of this chapter is conversation between Varuna and Hiranyaksha. So the conversation is very interesting. How a demonic people, even we have let me put me so before Krishna consciousness or after consciousness or the stage within the Krishna consciousness, how we exhibit ours, that is similar to this today's verses, conversation between Varuna and Hiranyaksha. So once again I'd like to read the translation and purport, and we will go one by one. And today's session all about this verse number 26 and 27 and 28. And mainly the focus will be like this: what are the demonic qualities exhibited by Hiranyaksha, and relating to that from Bhagavad Gita, and relating to that from Bhaktivinoda Thakura, who had written a book named called Krishna Samhita, right? So the complete today's session for another half an hour or 40 minutes going to be from Krishna Samhita, from Bhaktivinoda Thakura's book. It is very wonderful book it is, but actually I have not taken anything directly from that book. One of the devotee had compiled the seminar from His Holiness Bhakti Charaswami Maharaj seminar. So I will try to give some of the glimpse about this Hiranyakshas and relevant qualities. And then some of the references from Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, I think. In 16th chapter, divine and demonic qualities. Let us, think on that direction. And finally, we will connect with the Vaishnava Aparadha. So how, Hiranyaksha exhibiting same like, so these, in this three direction, we are going to understand for another 30 to 40 minutes. So this is what, small background about what we are going to discuss today. So let me read once again the translation and the small purport. The first verse, moving about in the ocean of many, many years, the mighty Hiranyaksha smoothed the gigantic wind-tossed waves again and again with his iron mace and reached Vibhavari, the capital of Varuna. So in the fifth canto, Vibhavari. So Vibhavari is the place for Varuna. It is mentioned like that. So Vibhavari actually it is belongs to that particular region belongs to moon, right? The water area whichever comes under, this is my understanding. The water area whichever is coming under this Vibhavari is actually a place for moon. It is mentioned, but in this sloka it is mentioned since it is speaks only about the water level of this particular region like that. So in fifth canto we can see the Yama is some portion he leads, and then Indra who leads, and then Varuna, that is what we are discussing, and then moon who is dividing that particular area. So in this portion particularly it is mentioned that under the water that region, and where all this Prabhupada mentioned Varuna is supposed to be the predominating deity of waters and his capital which is known as Vibhavari. The land area, predominating deity is actually moon, but under the water Vibhavari, that means Varuna is the in charge for that. He is within the watery kingdom, so he is responsible for that region. So this demonic person, what is going to do after conquering all the direction? What is the conversation we will see? Vibhavari is the home of Varuna, lord of the aquatic creatures and guardian of lower regions of the universe, where the demons generally reside. So below the water, that we know that 14 planetary system, that lower planetary system, Atala, Vitala, like that, Patala. So here it is mentioned that Varuna is responsible, or king, predominating deity for this particular region, where generally demons, creatures, guardian of lower regions, universe, where the demons generally reside. That is a place of demons. There Hiranyaksha fell at Varuna's feet like a low-born man. Just he is imitating, just he is acting, right? So just to pull his leg, he is doing all these things. And with the way of talking, this is a demonic quality. And to make fun of him, he said with a smile, "Give me a battle, O Supreme Lord, and also give me a battle, O Supreme Lord." See what kind of attitude Hiranyaksha is exhibiting here. And Prabhupada mentioned, the demonic person always challenges others and tries to occupy others' property by force, right? Here, these symptoms are fully displayed by Hiranyaksha, who begged war from a person who had no desire to fight. So this is one of the quality of demons. You are the guardian, 28th verse. You are the guardian of an entire sphere and ruler of wide fame. Just he is indirectly pulling his leg by glorifying Varuna like this. Having crushed the might of arrogant and conceited warriors, and having conquered all the Daityas and Danavas in the world, you once performed Rajasuya sacrifice to the Lord. So again is again and again indirectly pulling him. Hiranyaksha is pulling Varuna's this thing, but Varuna is so clever, that is another portion. So how cleverly he is bypassing him with the towards Supreme Lord like that. But here some more detail relevant to 28th verse according to the purport of 10th chapter and 30th sloka of Bhagavad Gita. Some details, because here it is mentioned that Daityas and then Danavas like that. So Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, And the sons of Diti are called Daityas, including him, Hiranyaksha. Daityas. All the Adityas are devotees of the Lord, and all the Daityas are the atheists, including Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Although Prahlad was born in the family of the Daityas, this is very important point. We have, I have, so much of this anarthas, like, demonic qualities, but there is a chance, or like person like Prahlad, Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of Daityas. He was a great devotee from his childhood because of his devotional service and the godly nature. He is considered to be a representative of Krishna. This is a small outline to understand, Daityas. And Danavas. Who are these Danavas? A class of powerful celestial demons and enemies of the gods. And also they are also enemies of the gods, no doubt about it. So as I mentioned, so let us learn some of the points, from Krishna Samhita by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakura, which is quite relevant, to today's topic. And here in this book, it is narrated whatever, Krishna's pastime from Krishna's book only, but how to understand, with respect to the qualities which each and every demon, exhibited. There are so much of qualities like Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, and then Duryodhana. Like that, there are so many demonic quality people are there in our scriptures. So according to the Krishna book, those who associated with Krishna, let us, see some of the characters to understand what exactly we can, relate to that particular demonic quality from our acharyas. So the first, the character is Putana. We all know Putana, what is, her role in Krishna's, pastimes or Leela. And she came, as a, like a motherly care. What do you call that? Some who can, take care of a baby like that. She came and then she exhibited, her demonic act. So that is equated by Bhakti Vinod Thakura here is pseudo guru. So there are, guru, they say, Putana represents the pseudo guru. The pseudo guru may appear in one or both of two forms, one or two of both forms. What are those? The first one, a deceitful so-called guru who preaches sense gratification or liberation or both. Right? The first bogus guru or, pseudo guru, here it is mentioned that who preaches sense gratification or liberation or both. So that is equated with Putana's act. And then the inwardly manifest spiritual guide in the form of the mundane empiric reasoning faculty, the material mind, completely whatever, the guru who preaches, that is the hidden, the thread lies with material mind only, not with spiritual or any transcendental act. So that is the first demonic act one can understand from Putana's, behavior or what she exhibited. Then Sakata Shura, we know the cart, demon, when Krishna was so small baby like that, it represents this Sakata Shura character, gives us the message, carrying the burden of a cart load of old and new bad habits. So old and new bad habits, not understanding the purpose of religious principles. So what the take-home message from the character called Sakata, the demonic character called Sakata Sura is, that means old and new bad habits. So whatever we have old and new bad habits, not understanding the purpose of religious principle. So this is another quality from Bhakti Vinod Thakura we could understand. So there is a lot of justification to that. Just I am giving little glimpse of it. And then Tranavarta. We know Tranavarta is a whirlwind demon, false pride, which coming from dry or material logic. So which is equated with Tranavarta. We know the whirlwind, the demon, comes and vanish that particular place with single, twist of the whirlwind. And it is equated with dry or material logic, which leads to bogus philosophies. which leads to bogus philosophies. So no meaning, something again it is related to material only. So that is equated for Tranavrata, false pride. Mainly it is for false pride, which is coming from dry or material logic. False pride. So I am so and so, like, which is not actually. Say I am the body. No, which is not so. Which leads to bogus philosophies like that. Then the fourth, characters or the demonic characters are Nal Kuvera and Manigriva. So most of us know what is the role of Nal Kuvera and Manigriva, and how the pastimes Krishna breaking that twin Arjuna trees, right? So they are the personification. They are represented here as arrogant pride. We know their father. Who is the father of Nal Kuvera and Manigriva? Is Kuvera. Arrogant pride, which comes from puffed of prestige. They are having arrogant pride, which is rooted in madness of wealth, madness for wealth, which is rooted in a madness for wealth. They are having that, my father is so, this, that, and so the quite contradictory is Narada Muni, the poverty on terms which are particularly relevant to ourselves as aspiring devotees, simple living and high thinking. So here, His Holiness Bhaktisara Swami Maharaj is equating that, from the Narada Muni. So how he led, very simple life in ISKCON movement. Prabhupada always emphasizes simple living and high thinking, right? Not like, Nal Kuvera and Manigriva. So they are the, these two characters are demonic qualities who represents arrogant pride, which comes from puffed of prestige. Puffed of, I am a rich person, I am a wealthy person, which is rooted in a madness for wealth. So they have from childhood, being trained, oh, we are the wealthy person, like that. So we have enough money, we have so much of money, that less this. So it ended up with so many consequences, we all know. Then general, hard shamelessness, right? It leads to what? Shamelessness, all sorts of, disgraceful activities. When Narada Muni sees what was their position, they don't have even a single piece of cloth on their body, and they are fully, with the alcohol, indulge in the alcohol, and more animalistic life, indulging with illicit relation, with so much of other gender. So all these things gives the take home from this Nal Kuvera and Manigriva, the bad qualities, arrogant pride, which comes from puffed of prestige. I'm so rich, I'm so elevated, this, and which is rooted in a madness for wealth. So they believe in only money is life. Then the fifth character is Vatsasura, the calf demon, a childish type of mentality. So from it is equated with a childish type of mentality which gives rise to a type of greediness which results in a wicked type of mischievousness, right? Feeling, so childish type of mentality which gives rise to type of greediness. Finally, it leads to greediness, which results in a wicked type of mischievousness, right? We can understand what is this, greediness, mischievousness, and then wicked, act. So this is Vatsasura, the calf demon, right? So doing some, act which will, with keeping all this greediness in the mind and all these things, right? So finally, Vatsasura, the calf demon. So it is being, more elaborately, it is being explained. Just I am giving the glimpse. Then Bakasura. Bakasura is equated with false religiosity. Why Bakasura is equated with false religiosity? He represents cunning duplicity, right? Bakasura, he represents cunning duplicity. So he acts like somebody else like that. And deceptive behavior and hypocrisy. So we all know behavior, deceptive behavior and hypocrisy, that, I am the master, like that. The outward manifestation of a false lifestyle of cheating activities. So to get wealth, to get, whatever the fame, this thing, getting into these kind of activities like, Bakasura. So represents cunning duplicity and deceptive behavior. So others, name and fame, we are trying to capture. So the work done by somebody else, and we are trying to take the credit. Oh, happily, yes, I have done like that. So that act, is condemned, and that is a act performed by Bakasura. Crane. So we all know, see, the Bakasura is a crane. So crane, what for it is standing? For its, food, like that, standing in a single leg for the whole day, and, having this cunning, duplicity, as if, I have not done anything, right? Cheating propensity, exhibiting the, cheating activity with the fish. The fish, oh, some other wood is, here. So like that, the fish is coming and then taking that. So that is compared here by, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. And then Aghasura. We all know Aghasura is a snake demon. Aghasura is cruelty personified. So Aghasura is equated here with cruelty. So who comes as, snake, and then very just opening its, wide mouth, and then Aghasura, and swallowing all these people into that. So this is a cruelty, just trying to swallow them, and more cruel act. That is for Aghasura. And then we all know very popular, pastimes of Brahma. Even Brahma Vimohana pastime. So it is mentioned that Brahma Vimohana pastime. So Lord Brahma, we all, very familiar with the animated series of Little Krishna. Lord Brahma steals the covered boys and cows. So this act comes from Brahma due to mundane activities and speculative scholasticism. Right? I am very learned person like that. And mundane activity, getting into these two qualities. So Brahma got, stuck with these two. What is mundane activity and speculative scholasticism? So he thought, I am the very learned, but Lord is the very learned, and he is the root for everything, and mundane activities. So even he is also a jiva. We know Brahma also a jiva. So this is the understanding about Brahma Vimohana pastime. So we all know, and then he took all the covered boys and, calls. Then Krishna, expanded into those calls and, covered boys, and for many, years, I think. Finally, Brahma realized, and then paying, his obeisances. Then Lord, performed a lila with Brahma like that. It's one of the very wonderful pastime, that mundane activities. Even see for Brahma, it is like that. What to speak about, the conditioned souls. Then the ninth character is Dhenukasura, the ass demon. So Dhenukasura is, equated with ignorance of knowledge of the soul. Ignorance of knowledge of the soul, all the conditioned soul, through gross materialistic intelligence. All the scientists, so this, that, they never take, scripture as the evidence. They need some, so-called scientific, that this, like jackass like foolishness. They think I am so this. I believe only in this, like that. So Prabhupada many times mentioned our senses are imperfect. So with this imperfect senses, whatever you measure, this is the as demon Dhenukasura exhibited ignorance of knowledge of the soul through gross materialistic intelligence. Only they believe in materialistic, intelligence, or jocus like foolishness. Right? So one more popular example, it is one scientist is telling, proudly I am telling, there is a superior energy beyond all this energy. So where that, there is some energy is okay, from where that proudness has come. The proudness came from, I am a scientist, in that sense. Proudly I am telling, there is a superior energy beyond all this energy. So then if something we don't know, we should be very humble. But here it is another opposite, the scientist exhibits Dhenukasura's ignorance of knowledge of the soul through gross materialistic intelligence. And then we all know Kalya. Kalya is chastising Krishna chastised the Kalya serpent. So this is equated with brutal cruelty. So Kalya, how it is brutal cruelty and maliciousness and pride, envy, and snake-like crookedness, right? And also, he particularly tries to pour his poison into the hearts of innocent Vaishnavas, which Krishna cannot tolerate. So then the Lord kills him, Kalya. So how, Kalya exhibited with Lord Krishna, with cruelty, to mixing what is this poison into the water. Here it is equated with innocent Vaishnavas, poison into the hearts of the innocent Vaishnava. So it's a brutal cruelty, maliciousness, pride, and then envy and snake-like crookedness. So these are the demonic qualities exhibited by Kaliya. And then we know Krishna's pastime about extinguishing the forest fire. So here the forest fire is equated with first forest fire and second forest fire, like extinguishing the forest fire. So what is the equated demonic quality here? The first forest fire represents hatred and arguments between Vaishnavas. The first forest fire represents hatred and arguments between Vaishnavas or different religions and disrespecting each other's deities, right? All religious fighting, Vaishnavas and Shaivites, all these qualities exhibiting like that. So this is very important. And then the second forest fire understanding is, the second forest fire represents the attack of atheism and other antagonistic philosophies on Krishna consciousness. The second forest fire represents the attack of atheism. So with atheism attacking on devotees and other antagonic philosophies on Krishna consciousness. Srila Sanatana Goswami says that some people say that the forest fire was a friend of Pralambasura. So all are demonic, family only. So they exhibit always demonic qualities only. Nothing we could expect from such a qualities. Then Brahmanas performing sacrifice. Again in Krishna's pastimes, Brahmanas performing sacrifice. So what is the mood of that Brahmana? Krishna, explains to the devotees. This pastime illustrates the fault of indifference towards Krishna arising out of pride due to high birth in the Varnashrama system. So these Brahmanas, I perform all these rituals every day, so I am very dear to Krishna, that this, all these things is the problem with, Sattva Guna. So though the person may be in Sattva Guna, so with that they may get, little pride, right? Not pride. They have some a kind of feeling that, oh, I am born in a so-and-so family. I have, they have some birth identity. So in that demonic quality, here it is being, explained based on the Varnashrama system, how Krishna, did a lila with Brahmanas performing the sacrifice. And then overcoming the pride of Indra. This is equated with demigod worship and the tendency to think I am supreme. This is for Indra actually. So it's also similar line like, previous, Brahmanas thinking. Here Indra also thinking I am superior like this. This pastimes illustrate the mistake of thinking that it is good to perform demigod worship. Thinking that, okay, so this demigod, gives me this particular, objective of my life. So let me go and focus and, living Krishna, right? So here we do even, even in many sampradaya, we do so much of, we keep a goddess as a priority, right? Very prominent festival, many festivals are there. By keeping Sanchalapati away, Sanchala, as a center like that. That mentality. Okay. This pastimes, equated with thinking that I am supreme, or thinking that, this particular demigod worship is superior than worshipping Krishna like that. Then Nanda Maharaja captured by Varuna. So Nanda Maharaj captured by Varuna, thinking that spiritual life can be enhanced by intoxication. So what to understand from Nanda Maharaj captured by Varuna in that, particular episode, thinking that spiritual life can be enhanced by intoxication. So definitely not possible, right? Thinking in that direction. And then Nanda Maharaja followed by Vidyadhara, yes, the snake. How Krishna saves the truth of devotional service from being swallowed by the Mayavadis and other atheists. So it illustrates how devotees must avoid the company of such a snake-like people, right? So we should, in Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami mentions repeatedly, we should avoid, non-devotees association. So that is a understanding from this particular pastime. Nanda Maharaj followed by Vidyadhara. Then finally Krishna saved. So devotees also, we should, be careful with Mayavadis and other atheists. So they may take away, our confidence sometime. Then bull demon, that is Aristasura, the pride arising from indulging in false religions invented by cheaters which cause neglect of devotional service. That is bhakti. That is pride arising from indulging in false religions invented by cheaters. Somebody will tell, I myself God, I created, this loka, that loka, all are cheaters. Then Kesi demon. We all know Kesi demon in Vrindavan. I am a great devotee and spiritual master. Kesi is pride personified. So I am a great devotee and spiritual master, like that one after. Also the false ego arising from attachment from wealth and material accomplishment also. And then Vyamasura. Vyamasura, a demon in the sky. Associating with thieves and other rascals and with people who put themselves forward as avatars. So they all are considered as thieves, rascals, and themselves forward as an avatar. I myself avatar. Like. So by bringing all these qualities out from the demonic people, those in Krishna's pastime, finally Bhaktivinoda Thakura gives the message. Sri Krishna has killed a number of demons which may arise in the kingdom of the heart. So in order to destroy these problems, a devotee must cry very humbly before the Lord and admit defeat. Then the Lord will nullify all contaminations. So here Bhaktivinoda Thakur ends with, so in order to destroy these problems, a devotee must cry very humbly before the Lord and admit the defeat. Then Lord will nullify all the contaminations gradually. So daily cry for his help and tide over these obstacles is our bhakti. So we should surrender to Krishna. That is the first quality one could understand and exhibit. And as I mentioned from Bhagavad Gita, so let me share quickly. Maximize. So these are the demonic nature. So even we in the sense, I personally, can equate directly or indirectly, associated with all these qualities. In the 16th chapter, demonic qualities, demonic nature, demonic philosophy, demonic attitude and engagements, demonic mentality, result of demonic work, demonic preachings, fate of demonic. So I would like to give a quick summary about this particular things like demonic qualities like pride, anger, arrogance, conscient, harshness, ignorance. The natures are, they do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. And also they do not follow Shastra. Unclean and proper, here it's a mistake, not a proper behavior, not truthful and self-centered. So they all face, not truthful and self-centered. And the philosophy will be like this. World is unreal with no God in control. Some countries, they are declaring that our country is, atheistic country. Proudly, they are declaring the amendments like that. No cause of other than lust, and thus this world is produced of sex desire. This is a demonic philosophy. And attitude and engagements will be like this. The demonic are lost to themselves and have no intelligence. And then another attitude, sense gratification is the prime necessity of human civilization. And engagements like this, engaged in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. All this, what you call, Prabhupada mentioned, Ugra Karma, right? Secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. We can equate, So I personally, could, come under many of these points, directly or indirectly. So we have to, as Bhaktivinoda Thakura mentioned, we should surrender to Krishna and every day. Then automatically that, divine qualities, or at least we should become come to the quality of human being, by maintaining at least with 4 regulative principles. So likewise, there are so many things being mentioned in our scriptures, demonic mentality, results of demonic work, and preaching, demonic preaching. What is this demonic preaching is, they are envious of God, saintly persons and scriptures. They are totally envious of God. We are hearing, in Bangladesh, they demolished, some of the temples, and they have killed, some of our devotees, all these things. These are the, effect of demonic preaching. So they come to that stage. They proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Preach that whatever path or creates is one's own path. There is no standard path. So they will go with whatever I think I do. There are many people like that. Others concoct their own God. Some preach that God is dead. Others say you are all yourself God. This is another bogus, preaching, right? You are all yourself, God. What is this? This is what, Mayavada philosophy. So we are also God, Lord also God. Then who is God? Fate of demonic. Finally, it end up with demonic. This point is very, very important. We have seen, so many demonic, characters and all these things. So I thought of relating to this and whatever, being discussed with Krishna's pastime. Fate of demonic is, they are perpetually cast into various demonic wombs in the ocean of material existence. So again and again, repeatedly, they will come to this, place without taking any salvation or liberation. Then attaining repeated birth among demonic species. Again and again, they'll take birth among the demonic species. Such persons can never approach me. Krishna told those people cannot reach. So that Prahlad Maharaj is exceptional. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable types of existence. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable types of existence. Again and again, they degrade. They glide down to hell. Finally, they glide down to hell. So these are the, what to say, demonic nature. And so we will connect to our own, devotees, Vaishnava Aparadh. So we all very repeatedly, we are talking about Vaishnava Aparadh, blasphemy of Vaishnava. This is 3 points, which I am going to discuss. This is from Bhakti Sadachar workshop, Krishna consciousness behavior. So here, this particular point more, interesting to understand what exactly different degrees of offenses. So Vaishnava Aparadh is there. Let us look into some detail about that. So there are 3 different levels are there. It is mentioned in Krishna book, chapter 89. The different offenses are progressively greater in degree. So degree, we know the positive degree, comparative degree, and then superlative degree. So what is that initial stage? Something thinking bad about other devotees, that is called, the offense committed within the mind, thinking about, oh God, this devotee, should not approach me, let me go that way, the like thinking like that. Then the same offenses committed verbally. If some devotees are coming and, telling, Hare Krishna Prabhu, just, the devotee is willing to associate, but we are cornering, by telling various reasons and, like that verbally is comparatively more grave. And finally, the superlative offense is committed by bodily action, going and telling something ill about them, removing them from that particular service and, putting down in front of other service, among the devotees. Personally, I have this kind of with positive and comparative and then superlative, so that we can rework. And this is the chance why Krishna is even for devotees bringing all this situation is in one of the lecture I heard, it is mentioned that Lord is giving chance for us even to purify, though whatever. So we can see senior devotees and madhyama adhikari and then kanishta adhikari, different levels are there. When over a period of time, when we progress, all these anarthas, this mad elephant, offense, different degrees of offenses. So the beginning only we have to curb that. In the positive degree only we should curb that. We cannot artificially have a relationship or have a these things like that. Be a truthfulness maintain. That is one of the quality of a Vaishnava. And the second point is here is four kinds of blasphemy to a Vaishnava. What are those four kinds? Thinking bad about some devotees based on birth and caste. They are born in so and so. They are belongs to this material identity. Born into the so-called the caste system which we follow in our government. And the next blasphemy or aparadh, here it is mentioned, thinking based on somebody's previous sinful activities and one surrender to Lord Krishna. Previously they were doing some particular act, like working in wine shop or butcher house, or getting into all this away from this four regulative principle. Once they come to Krishna consciousness, still thinking and telling about that particular thing 10 years before, you are a meat eater, some particular things, again thinking in the mind and thinking about that particular devotee like that. And then third aparadh is unpremeditated accidental fall down. The Vaishnava from unpremeditated, so some accidental fall down or unknowingly, with some condition life, they would have done once some particular mistake or that thing, and keeping that and then again and again identifying that mistake and telling against or speaking against them. The fourth aparadh is Vaishnava for the last trance is our previous sins or faults that are almost rectified. So some aparadh will be there. It went up to some of the faults with the GBC and then it is solved. Again telling about they have committed offenses. We can find based on Guru Maharaj, based on one temple to another temple. These are the first examples. So this is mentioned in Sri Harinama Chintamani chapter 4, criticizing saintly persons. And then the last Vaishnava aparadh is the topic is a devotee's response in hearing blasphemy, right? Devotee's response by hearing if somebody is doing offense, this is related to tolerance. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 7.50 purport. Here it is mentioned, one should very meek and humble in his personal transactions, and if he insulted a Vaishnava, should be if insulted a Vaishnava, should be tolerant and not angry. Very important. This is another direction. How to take such a things. If we are pure, then it is applicable. But if there is blasphemy against one's guru to another Vaishnava, one should be angry as fire. It is recommended. Somebody is telling bad about, your Guru Maharaj is like that, my Guru Maharaj is like that, then it is not accepted. This was exhibited by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One should not tolerate blasphemy against Vaishnava, but should immediately take one of three actions. If someone blasphemy a Vaishnava, one should stop him with arguments, higher reason. Please stop this. We have other purpose. Let us continue. And second one, if one is not expert enough to do this, he should give up his life. It's very so powerful statement. Give up his life and on the spot. And if he cannot do this, he must go away. He should not be in that, he or she should not be in that place. So it's very more, deeper sense. So I'm touching upon that. So this is what Hiranyaksha exhibited exactly in front of Varuna. So here I would like to stop here for today's details. This is the way, he behaved. Why all these things, we have discussed. This is the way Hiranyaksha behaved with Varuna. So in the other slokas, it is mentioned that like how he is diverting, such a demonic people towards the Lord. Lord will take care, right? So that is another, chapter. So here I would like to stop today's topic discussion. If there is any mistake in my way of communication, please forgive me. Hare Krishna. If there is any questions or any sharings, most welcome. Hare Krishna. So if there is no questions, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Thanks for joining all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank
Krishna,
you.
Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Thanks, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Oh, thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji's Mataji's. Hare Krishna. So we'll end the session. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare